What's up, all you wild and crazy 5th graders? It's Mr. Yarber here to give you a quick rundown and some flashing breaking news on plant categories. Now, the other day we talked about animal categories, but let's talk about something else. Now, I got my buddy here today. You get a close-up of him in just a second, so you can really see him close. I'm sure you guys know who he is. He's in the movie. He's groovy. He's a big, popular dude. Now, let's talk about plants. Our plants are broken down into 2 categories. We have vascular plants, those plants that have vessels and tubes to carry nutrients, and we have non-vascular plants, those plants that do not have those tubes and vessels to carry nutrients to the plant. Now, to give you an example of a non-vascular plant, moss. Moss is a non-vascular plant. Now, the thing, because it doesn't have tubes and vessels to cause it to grow, it does not get to be a very large and tall plant. Let's get over to our vascular plants, though. First, we got some different types of vascular plants. We have these things known as seedless vascular plants. They produce with spores. An example of a seedless vascular plant, I know my buddy's creeping up here because it's green, is a fern. A fern does not produce from seeds. It produces from spores. That's very important for you to know because the other ones, the gymnosperms and the angiosperms that we talk about, are going to grow from seeds. That is correct. Seeds. Now, let me give a shout out real quick to my buddy Journey. Journey talked to me today about bringing some hot merchandise to the channel, so make sure you get with Journey in order to get that hot, fresh, new merch that he's going to make for me. Now, let's get back to these vascular plants that have these vessels. They break down into 2 categories, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Now, a gymnosperm hides seeds and cones and don't produce flowers at all. And I'm going to show you some examples of that here in just a second. But now let's talk about the opposite, which is your angiosperms. Angiosperms have seeds and protective covering. They're known for producing flowers. Okay, so we've got gymnosperms, angiosperms. Let's go with the gymnosperms first because it takes us to our conifers, or also known as coniferous plants. These leaves lose leaves, or these trees and plants lose leaves all year long and replace them. We're very familiar with these in South Georgia because they're known for having needles, which a pine tree is an example of a coniferous gymnosperm plant. Let's shift back over to the angiosperms. Now, the angiosperms, they have the seeds and protective coverings, okay? They come down. These plants are known as deciduous plants. Examples of these different plants may vary. Deciduous means the leaves are going to fall off in the fall and they're going to reproduce in the spring. They're going to regrow those leaves, flowers, plants, stuff like that during the springtime. Now, our deciduous plants break down into 2 categories, monocots and dicots. Let's talk about the monocots first. Examples of monocots are grasses, lilies, palm trees. You're going to get a close-up of my man here because this was a picture of grass, but it doesn't show up for some crazy reason. I really don't know why. You can probably put 2 and 2 together. Now let's talk about the dicots, or flowers, vegetables. Oops, I have my picture upside down. Pecan trees. All these things are examples of dicots, which takes us back up to deciduous plants because our deciduous plants lose their leaves. They lose their leaves in the fall and regrow them in the spring. Now remember, the deciduous plant is an element of the angiosperm plant that have seeds and protective covering, while our pine trees or coniferous plants, they lose their leaves all year long but regrow them and are attached to the gymnosperms. I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick shout out to my man Steven, who wanted me to give him a shout out, aka Scuba Steve. There you go, Steven. You got your shout out. Hope you enjoyed the video.